The desperate call. The orbital station shuddered as another bombardment struck its failing shields. Ambassador Lyra steadied herself against the command console, her slender fingers leaving smudges on the polished surface. Outside the viewport, the darkness of space was interrupted by the ominous silhouettes of Taurian warships. 7 of them arranged in perfect attack formation, their hulls gleaming like predatory teeth in the light of Valeria's twin suns. "Shield integrity at 19%, announced Chief Engineer Sorin, his voice steady despite the fear evident in his luminescent eyes. Like all Valerians, his skin held a soft blue glow that dimmed with stress or exhaustion. Right now, he was barely visible in the darkened command center. "How many civilians remain on the surface?" Lyra asked, though she dreaded the answer. "Approximately 8,000. The evacuation ships can't launch with the Taurians maintaining their blockade," replied Defense Coordinator Tella. "Ambassador, we must consider surrendering. The Imperium might spare our people if we become their slaves." Lyra's voice was sharp. "If we surrender our world and its resources, you've seen what happened to the Norvelians when they surrendered. There is no mercy in the Imperium. The Valerian High Council had refused the Taurian demands 3 planetary cycles ago. Demands to relinquish their homeworld's rich deposits of quantum crystals, the rare mineral that powered most advanced starships. The Taurian Imperium had responded swiftly and brutally, destroying Valeria's meager defensive fleet within hours. Now only this orbital station and the planetary shield remained between the Valerians and extinction. "Shields at 15%. Sorin updated. "We have perhaps 30 minutes before total failure." Lyra gazed at the star map projected before her. Their distress signals had been broadcasting for days across all frequencies. The nearest Allied system was weeks away at maximum speed. No help would come in time. But she had to try one last time. "Open a channel," she ordered. "Broadcast on all frequencies, including the old Earth trading routes." "Earth?" Tella's eyes widened. "The humans abandoned this sector years ago, when the Imperium began its expansion. They're isolationists now, barely venturing beyond their solar system. They're also the only species who ever stood up to the Taurians and survived." Lyra replied firmly. "Open the channel." When the communication system powered up, Lyra straightened her posture and spoke clearly despite her exhaustion. "This is Ambassador Lyra of the Valerian Confederation. Our homeworld is under siege by the Taurian Imperium. 8,000 civilians remain planetside with our shields failing. We have no weapons capable of repelling their warships. If anyone can hear this message, please help us. This is our final distress call." She paused, then added, "We know aid is unlikely. No species has ships strong enough to challenge the Imperium directly. But we must try one last time." The message shot outward through the void, bouncing between relay stations, passing through systems that had long since learned to look away when the Taurians attacked. Most species would delete such transmissions immediately, fearful of being associated with the Imperium's enemies. The message traveled for 18 hours before reaching the edge of a region that most advanced races considered unimportant, the territory of a young species that had barely begun to scratch the surface of interstellar travel. At Deep Space Monitoring Station Epsilon, Lieutenant Commander Sanjay Patel was midway through his night shift when the alert chimed. He expected the usual automated updates from Earth's limited trading partners. Instead, a translation appeared on his screen with a high-priority flag. "Holy shit," he whispered, reading about the Valerian colony under attack. His fingers moved swiftly across the console. "Command, this is DSMS Epsilon. We've received a Priority 1 distress signal. Patching it through now." In the underground complex of Earth Defense Initiative headquarters, beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Helena Wolf reviewed the transmission with narrowed eyes. At 62, she had spent the last 20 years overseeing Earth's most closely guarded secret, the development of defensive technologies far beyond what the rest of the galaxy believed humans possessed. "How far is Valeria from our position?" she asked the assembled officers. Strategic Operations Director Colonel Takashi checked the star charts. At conventional speeds, 15 days minimum. With the Ares drive, he hesitated, glancing at the engineers present. 36 hours if we push it to maximum capacity. Which ship is closest to deployment readiness? Wolf asked. The Thunderbolt, Admiral, replied Captain Maya Chen from the doorway, having entered during the briefing. At 38, Chen was the youngest captain in the initiative, known for both brilliance and unconventional thinking. We completed final systems testing yesterday. My crew is ready. Admiral Wolf nodded slowly. You understand what this means, Captain. If you respond to this call, there's no going back. Earth has maintained a deliberate posture of technological inferiority for decades. The moment the Thunderbolt engages, that strategy ends. With respect, Admiral, Chen replied. That strategy was always going to end eventually. The Taurians have been expanding their territory for years. It was only a matter of time before they set their sights on us. Better to face them on our terms than wait for them to reach our doorstep. The room fell silent as Wolf considered. The Earth Defense Initiative had been established after first contact 60 years ago, revealed a galaxy far more dangerous than humanity had imagined. Rather than announcing their rapid technological advances, Earth had chosen to appear weak while building in secret. The Thunderbolt was their masterpiece, a warship with capabilities no other species believed possible for primitive humans. Very well, Wolf finally said. Captain Chen, you have authorization to deploy. Your primary mission is to evacuate Valyrian civilians. Engage the Taurian forces only if necessary for mission success. Chen nodded, her expression resolute. Understood, Admiral. And Captain, Wolf added, remember that after today, everything changes. The galaxy will know what humanity is truly capable of. Make sure the first impression is the right one. 12 hours later, the Thunderbolt departed Earth orbit, its sleek obsidian hull absorbing rather than reflecting light. From the outside, it appeared barely larger than a standard human transport vessel, another deception carefully crafted over years. Inside was a different story. On the bridge, Captain Chen surveyed her crew with quiet confidence. They were the best Earth had to offer, training for years for a moment they weren't sure would ever come. Status report, she requested as they cleared the solar system's edge. All systems nominal, reported Executive Officer Commander Jackson. Ares drive ready for activation. Weapon systems online but dormant. Stealth systems engage. Chen nodded, taking her command chair. Set course for Valyria. Prepare for Ares drive activation on my mark. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. No human ship had ever intervened in a conflict beyond their solar system. After decades of watching, learning, and building in silence, humanity was about to announce its presence to the galaxy in unmistakable terms. Mark. The stars outside blurred as the Thunderbolt leaped forward, tearing through space at speeds the rest of the galaxy believed impossible. The revolutionary Ares drive didn't just bend space, it folded it multiple times, creating shortcuts through the fabric of reality itself. As the Thunderbolt raced toward Valyria, the siege continued. On the Taurian command ship, War Commander Drex surveyed the weakening planetary shields with cold satisfaction. His scaled skin gleamed under the ship's harsh lighting as he turned to his tactical officer. How much longer until their shields fail? He demanded. Approximately 20 minutes, Commander. Their orbital station's shields are already critical. Drex's mouth curved into what passed for a smile among his species. Excellent. Prepare the planet crackers. I want this over quickly. The quantum crystal deposits will be more accessible once we've eliminated these irritating vermin. Yes, Commander. What about survivors? There will be no survivors, Drex said simply. The Valyrians rejected our generous offer. Now they will serve as an example to others who might consider defiance. The tactical officer bowed his crested head. I'll prepare the bombardment sequence. Drex turned back to gaze at the small blue-green world below. Like so many before it, Valyria would soon be another conquest for the ever-expanding Taurian Imperium. No one would come to help them. No one ever did. Such was the natural order of the galaxy. The strong subjugated the weak. He had no way of knowing that 32 minutes from that moment, everything he believed about the natural order was about to change. Humanity unleashed. The alarm shrieked through the Valyrian orbital station as the shields flickered dangerously. Ambassador Lyra gripped the command console, her luminescence barely visible in her exhaustion. Shields at 4%, Chief Engineer Sorin reported grimly. Catastrophic failure imminent. Defense Coordinator Tella approached Lyra, her voice soft. Ambassador, we should send the emergency message to our people. Give them a chance to make peace with the end. Lyra's shoulders slumped slightly, but she kept her voice steady. Establish planet-wide communications. Before she could speak the words that would tell her people to prepare for death, the sensor operator cried out in surprise. Ambassador, I'm detecting a spatial anomaly at the edge of the system. I've never seen readings like this. On the main view screen, space itself seemed to ripple and fold. Then, without warning, a ship appeared, sleek, dark, and relatively small compared to the massive Taurian vessels. It bore markings that made Lyra's breath catch. Is that a human ship? Tella whispered in disbelief. Impossible, Sorin said. Humans don't have ships capable of traveling this far, let alone fast enough to respond to our distress call. Yet the evidence was unmistakable. The Earth insignia gleamed on the hull of the vessel that now accelerated toward the Valyrian system at incredible speed. On the Taurian command ship, War Commander Drex stared at the view screen with narrowed eyes. What is that? He demanded as his sensors registered the approaching vessel. It appears to be a ship of human design, Commander, his tactical officer replied, confusion evident in his voice. Small transport class, minimal weaponry according to our database. Drex snorted dismissively. Humans, they're barely space capable. Their ships can't even match our basic cruisers. He waved a clawed hand. Destroy it. It's probably some foolish trader who didn't get the message about our blockade. Yes, Commander. Targeting the human vessel. 2 Taurian warships broke formation, turning their massive weapon arrays toward the approaching Thunderbolt. Aboard the human ship, Captain Maya Chen watched the tactical display with focused intensity. They've noticed us, reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Wei. 2 vessels breaking formation and charging weapons. Chen nodded calmly. Just as expected. Status of stealth systems. Fully operational, confirmed Chief Engineer Rodriguez. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. And the Valyrians. Communications Officer Park looked up from her station. Their shields are about to fail, Captain. Estimated 3 minutes until complete collapse. Chen leaned forward in her command chair. Then we don't have time for subtlety. Execute Operation Thunderclap. Full tactical display. The bridge lights dimmed as a 3-dimensional representation of the battlefield materialized in the center of the command deck. 7 Taurian warships, the Valyrian station, the planet itself, and the Thunderbolt, all rendered in perfect detail. Activate quantum mirrors, Chen ordered. Throughout the ship, crew members moved with practiced efficiency. This was the moment they had trained for, the unveiling of humanity's true capabilities. In space, the impossible happened. The single human vessel suddenly appeared to split into 5 identical ships, each one seemingly solid and real, each broadcasting the same energy signatures. On the Taurian command ship, alarms blared as sensors struggled to make sense of the readings. Commander, the tactical officer cried. The human vessel. It's multiplied. Drex rose from his command chair, his scales darkening with anger. Impossible. It must be some kind of sensor malfunction. No, sir. All 5 ships are registering as physically present. They're deploying weapons we've never seen before. Before Drex could respond, blinding pulses of energy erupted from 3 of the human vessels, striking the two approaching Taurian warships with pinpoint precision. The massive ships shuddered as their primary weapon arrays overloaded and went dark. "What just happened?" Drex demanded, his voice rising. "Status report. Weapon systems disabled on warships 3 and 4, his officer replied. "Stunned. Not destroyed. Disabled. With surgical precision. These aren't conventional weapons, Commander. They appear to be some kind of targeted electromagnetic pulse, but far more sophisticated than anything in our database." Drex slammed his fist on the console. "Impossible. Humans don't have this technology. All ships, full attack pattern. Destroy those vessels." The remaining Taurian warships opened fire, filling space with destructive energy. 3 of the human ships disappeared instantly when struck, but they vanished without explosion or debris. "Holograms," Drex whispered in dawning horror. On the Thunderbolt, Captain Chen allowed herself a small smile as the tactical display updated. Quantum mirrors performing exactly as designed. The Taurians have wasted 40% of their firepower on our projections. The real Thunderbolt remains undetected, Captain. Confirmed why. We are positioned beneath their formation. All weapon systems ready. Chen nodded. Target their engines and secondary weapons only. We want to disable, not destroy. What about their shields, Captain? Asked Commander Jackson. Show them what the Excalibur system can do, Chen replied. Beneath the Taurian formation, the real Thunderbolt powered up its revolutionary weapon system. Unlike conventional weapons that attempted to overpower shields through brute force, the Excalibur system identified the exact frequency of enemy shields and simply phased through them, leaving the target completely exposed. 5 precisely aimed energy pulses later, all 7 Taurian warships hung dead in space, their engines and weapons disabled, shields collapsed. Not a single one had been destroyed. In the stunned silence of the Taurian command ship, Drex stared at the main view screen as the real Thunderbolt finally revealed itself, materializing directly in front of his vessel. "Open a channel," Chen ordered on her bridge. When the Taurian commander's scaled face appeared on screen, Chen spoke with calm authority. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Initiative vessel Thunderbolt. Your ships have been disabled, not destroyed. This is intentional. We are here to evacuate the Valyrian civilians, and we will be establishing a peacekeeping presence in this system afterward." Drex's expression contorted with rage. "This is impossible. Humans are a primitive species. You cannot. We've maintained that appearance deliberately," Chen interrupted. "As you can now see, it was misleading. The Taurian Imperium will immediately cease all hostilities against the Valyrian people and withdraw from this sector, or we will be forced to demonstrate capabilities far beyond what you've witnessed today." To emphasize her point, she nodded to Wei, who activated a secondary weapon system. A small projectile launched from the Thunderbolt, stopping halfway between the vessels before expanding into a miniature black hole. It existed for merely 3 seconds, just long enough to tear a perfectly circular hole through an asteroid floating nearby, before the Thunderbolt systems safely collapsed it. The message was clear. The Thunderbolt could have destroyed the entire Taurian fleet with ease. Drex's face paled to an ashen gray. "Who are you people?" he whispered. Chen's expression remained impassive. "We are humanity. We've been watching, learning, and preparing. This galaxy has operated under the principle that might makes right for too long. That changes today." She leaned forward slightly. "You have 1 hour to power up your emergency systems and leave this system. We will provide the necessary technical assistance if required. If you agree to these terms, no report of this encounter will be filed with the Galactic Assembly. The choice is yours, Commander." The communication ended, leaving the Taurian commander staring at a blank screen. On the Valyrian orbital station, Ambassador Lyra watched in astonishment as evacuation ships began to launch from the surface, no longer impeded by the Taurian blockade. A communication request from the human vessel flashed on her console. When Captain Chen's face appeared, Lyra struggled to find words. "Captain, how can we possibly thank you?" Chen's expression softened slightly. "No thanks necessary, Ambassador. We should have intervened sooner in this region. That changes now." "But why?" Lyra asked. "Why risk revealing your true capabilities for us?" "Because it was the right thing to do," Chen replied simply. "And because humanity has learned through our own history that tyrants don't stop until someone stands up to them." 4 hours later, the Taurian fleet had departed, limping away on emergency power. The Thunderbolt remained in orbit around Valyria, its presence a symbol of something the galaxy had not seen in generations: hope that the strong would no longer prey upon the weak with impunity. In her private quarters, Captain Chen composed her report to Earth Command. The final paragraph read, "The stratagem of appearing weak while building strength has served Earth well, but that chapter is now closed. Today marks humanity's true entry onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors, but as protectors. The Taurians will spread word of what happened here, as we intended. Other species will approach us with new caution, but also, if we stay true to our principles, with new hope. The message we've sent is clear. Humanity will not stand by while innocents suffer. This is the legacy we choose to build among the stars." 3 weeks later, representatives from 14 previously unaligned worlds requested diplomatic relations with Earth. 6 months after that, the Galactic Assembly invited humanity to take a seat on the Security Council, the youngest species ever to receive such an honor. The galaxy had learned an important lesson: never mistake patience for weakness, preparation for inaction, or kindness for vulnerability. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. The end.